I've got an easy crock pot recipe for you that the entire family is going to love. Crock Pot Chicken Tenders. It is so simple to make. You just throw it in the crock pot and you're going to love the flavor. Hi, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and we're on a mission to help families eat well on a budget. And my favorite thing is the slow cooker, because you don't have to do any work because the slow cooker does all the work. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you how to make this super simple and easy recipe. Now today we're going to start with a 6-quart slow cooker. I'm just using a traditional one. I do have linked below a link to my best slow cooker. So all my favorite slow cookers, you're going to love them. Then, so you can do any kind if you need a new one, but even your old grandma's crock pot will work as well. We're going to do 2 pounds of chicken tenders, but you can even increase this if you need more for your family. And we're just going to place these right into the bottom of the slow cooker. I'm using fresh chicken tenders here today, but you can use frozen. I know a lot of people don't like using frozen meat in the slow cooker, but you do you, no judgment. You can also switch out this recipe and you could do chicken thighs instead of the tenders, or chicken breasts as well would work amazing as well. I would probably do boneless, skinless on this recipe just because it's gonna make a really nice gravy, and we like serving these over like mashed potatoes or rice or pasta. The first thing we're going to add is a packet of Good Seasons Italian mix. I am just using the packet today, but I actually have a recipe for a homemade version of this on eatingonadime.com. Just search Good Seasons or Italian mix, like dressing mix, and you will find that recipe pull up. I'll also try to link it in the description. But if you can't find this in your local grocery store, we do have a homemade version, because I know I have several people in different countries that follow and they can't find it, but it's so easy to make. We're just gonna sprinkle this right on top. Next, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, and then 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. We are using pre-minced garlic today, but you can also use fresh minced garlic as well. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of chicken broth right on top, and 2 lemons that you're gonna freshly squeeze. You could use like pre-made jarred lemon, but I highly recommend we use fresh lemons. It'll just bump up the flavor so much more. Now today I'm going to use my lemon juicer. Instead of using your hands, you can get so much more juice out. You don't have to worry about any of the seeds coming out, and it's so much faster. Now don't skip on the lemon juice, because this is what really packs it filled with that flavor. And when you're doing crock pot recipes, I find it's great to use fresh ingredients like lemon, because it bumps up the flavor than just using all mixes and creams of and those kind of things. Now we're just going to add the lid, and then we're going to slow cook this for low for 3 to 4 hours, or high for 1.5 to 2 hours. This doesn't take a long time to cook because we're doing chicken tenders. If you're doing chicken breast or boneless chicken thighs, you're going to need to up that to our regular cooking time of low for 6 to 8 hours and high for 3 to 4. Okay, so we're just gonna let this cook, and then we'll be right back. Okay, it's ready. It smells so good. Now, when you first open it, you're gonna see that the liquid is pretty runny, but that's where we're gonna thicken it up and make a delicious sauce that you can serve over veggies, rice, or pasta. Now, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm going to remove all the chicken tenders carefully. Now, when I say carefully is because if you overcook them too much, they're going to like literally fall apart, so be careful. But if you cook them to how we cooked them, they're gonna be just perfect. Still nice and tender, but not falling apart into pieces. And again, falling apart isn't bad either, honestly. So we're gonna remove all of this. Then we're going to set this aside. And I'm going to take a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of water with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And this is a thickening agent. Now you want to make sure that water is cold. That's why we don't put cornstarch directly into the hot liquid. It gets all clumpy. So we're going to whisk this together. And then you have 2 options. Option number 1 is you can pour this out into a skillet and heat it up and make it nice and thick. Or you can throw this into your crock pot and let it sit uncovered for a few minutes. Usually sometimes it's like 30 minutes to take it until it gets nice and thickened. I'm going to do it on the saucepan today, so I'm going to show you how to do that. But if you want to do it in here, you would just pour this in and then let it thicken, and it'll slowly thicken up for you. Now, some people have had issues with the thickening up in the crock pot, and that's why I want to show you the stovetop method today. Now, I've poured all of those juices from the crock pot straight into a medium saucepan, and we're just going to heat this on high. Now we're going to take that cornstarch mixture and pour it straight into the pan and whisk it up. This is a thickener, so it'll thicken it up. All we have to do is let this heat for 2 to 4 minutes until it's as thick as you'd like. Now, I just randomly will whisk it. As it boils, it will start thickening. And remember, when it cools, it will thicken even more. So I like to finish this right before it's the perfect consistency that we want. Okay, it has thickened. This one took about 2 minutes, but as you can see, it is so much thicker, less waterier. See how it comes off of the whisk? It's not as watery, and so we are ready to pour this back into the crock pot and ready to eat. Okay, so the gravy is thickened. I'm going to put these right back into the crock pot. And then we're going to pour this gravy right on top. Now, the only reason I'm doing that, you could just serve this as is. I'm just doing that so that way it will stay nice and warm in the crock pot until you're ready to eat. And that's great if you have other sides to make or anything like that. We're going to serve it with mashed potatoes today. But here's a fun little trick and tip that you can do. If you like baked potatoes instead, you can actually wrap up potatoes in foil and place them right on top of this. So while they're cooking, the baked potatoes are cooking. But we're going to do mashed potatoes because I love this gravy served on mashed potatoes or egg noodles or rice. It's so good. And I love the fact that you can make the same recipe and serve it 3 different ways. And so your family thinks they're getting 3 different dinners, but it's actually just one recipe. I just wanted to show you how delicious that gravy looks right on top of that chicken. It's a really nice light dinner. I've got some homemade mashed potatoes. I'm just gonna spoon on the plate. It's time to assemble. I would serve this with some steamed broccoli too, and that would be so good. Let me grab my tongs. And the gravy is just so good right on top of those potatoes. We're ready to dig in. Yum! I'm gonna try it with the mashed potatoes first. It's so good. That lemon just really brightens it up. It's delicious. If you love lemon, you're gonna love this recipe. The chicken's so tender, I can't stop eating it. The number one complaint you might have with this recipe is that you don't have enough gravy. If you think that's the case with you, go ahead and up. You don't have to change anything else. Just up your broth to a cup from a 1/2 cup. I feel like this is plenty for us, but if you're going to serve it on mashed potatoes and you think people are going to be just covering those mashed potatoes with gravy, go ahead and raise that to a 1 cup. But that's how easy this dinner is. This does not take a lot of work. And remember, you can serve it 3 different ways because you can serve it with mashed potatoes, egg noodles, or rice. Another thing is you can also throw in some green veggies right in the beginning as well too, and get those veggies cooking in the same pot, and that would be delicious as well. Okay, friends, it's time for me to go. I hope I've inspired you to try chicken tenders in the crock pot. I think you're gonna love this recipe. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss any more of our family-friendly recipes. I love hanging out in my kitchen with you, and I hope you join me next time. Don't forget, you're gonna find the full recipe, nutritional information, and some more of our other favorite crock pot recipe videos linked in the description below. Until next time, go make yourself some chicken tenders, and I will see you next time in my kitchen. Bye, friends.